Alright, breaking news. A new religion was found in the city of Mecca. A couple developments were made. This is how it all began. So it all began when the angel Gabriel appeared to Muhammad in 610 in a cave nearby Mecca during the holy month of Ramadan. At first, Muhammad was skeptical and he seemed terrified because something just appeared out of nowhere to him. The angel Gabriel told Muhammad to recite and then told him the divine word of God. That later became the Quran. Muhammad had a tough past. He had a lack of basic necessities after being orphaned, and he also worked in advanced caravan trade. But the angel Gabriel gave something very special to Muhammad. Muhammad didn't know how to react to it, like I mentioned, and he later accepted his role as God's vehicle. He then took action and started sharing his wisdom, ideas, whatever Angel Gabriel told him. His wife was the first to convert, then followed Abu Talib's son. They became the first Islams. In 613, the Prophet Muhammad began to preach the Quran publicly. There's many mixed feelings about this in the public. He had a couple commoners of Mecca who he convinced immediately, while the Umayyad clan's leadership of society was being challenged by his message. They didn't really appreciate what he was doing. After a lot of conflict and tension, the Muslims attacked the Mecca, where they encountered limited resistance. The Muslims took control over the city of Mecca and cleansed Kaaba, I believe that is how it's pronounced, of its religious images and dedicated it to God. The tribes learned about the triumphs and allied politically and religiously with the Prophet, so they didn't really fight it much. So on the other hand, in medieval India, we have new developments. The first step was that the Chola kingdom becomes the most powerful of kingdoms out there during that time period. The Chola kingdom conquered most of South India, including Sri Lanka. I'm not sure if that was pronounced correctly. And they also administered the court area. They also did feudatories to allied chieftains and land grants to Brahmins. The kingdom peaked for about 2 centuries before they began to decline, which is a very long time for a kingdom to survive. Once the decline began, it was easy for the neighboring kingdoms to nibble away power, so they slowly became apart and lost power. The second step to this development was that before any of that bad stuff happening for the 2 centuries that they were peaking, they were doing so well that they created Chola temples. That was used to basically show off. The kingdom was so great that it grew so much and they wanted to celebrate. The temples would testify to the king's piety, and the eulogies created for the kings would describe them as great warrior, conquerors, protectors of Dharma, and destroyers of evil, and generous givers of gifts. They were created in honor of great Hindu deities. I won't pronounce this correctly, but Raja or Raha the first completed a temple in Tanjavur, which I have the name on, but I know I won't be able to pronounce it. Those were the 2 developments that happened in that time with medieval India and Islam.